Well, my name is Marcos, and I'm here to talk a little about my experience using Neumi. I've been using it for almost a full year now. I started at the end of January last year, at the beginning of 2025. And lately, I've been talking with Damien, who is the person I'm closest to. So let me introduce myself a bit. I'm an athlete. I do triathlons, okay? Triathlon at professional intensities and levels, at the national level in Spain, and some international races at slightly higher levels, and I've been experimenting with Neumi in different situations and circumstances, even in my own races. What happened to me these past few days was kind of the trigger for me to make this video. So I've been going through a few weeks of really hard training, okay? We're in preseason, and that means a lot of volume, a lot of load, so that the body can start to adapt, since this is the work that will keep you going during the competition season. The work you do now, the base work, is the most important, and what I want to talk about here is a bit about what I felt as an athlete who trains at high intensities and with large volumes, and how the fatigue keeps building up for me day after day. So I have a screen here on my tablet with the training program we use, where everything gets recorded. It's Training Peaks. Maybe some of you athletes use it or know about it. Okay. And I wanted to share a bit about the situation I experience these days, because it honestly blew my mind. After taking the product for a year, I'm talking about the Nutriswish product, specifically the blue bottle. The first few days, I already noticed an increase in, my physical capacity, especially, I started taking it, and one day during track intervals, another day while swimming, I felt like I was, floating on air. I felt a sensation like it wasn't even me. The fatigue just didn't hit me. Honestly, I felt like I was in a daze, And I experienced that feeling again just this past weekend, and today is Monday. On Saturday and Sunday, I had 2 days of double training sessions, really tough ones, okay? Triathlon is swimming, cycling, and running, although we also do gym sessions from time to time. And, I've got my cheat sheet here, On Friday at 7 p.m., I did a light intensity swim workout. And before that, I had done a pretty tough bike workout, okay? We sprint tests, explosive starts, which really left me wiped out. And so I took the product, and to this day, I can feel the effects, But then Saturday came, and at 8 in the morning, we had to be in the water swimming. A super tough workout too, with 12 sets of 100 meters, recovering with another 100 meters, so it was 24 sets of 100. I have to admit that I took Neumi at 7 in the morning, okay? It wasn't 7:30 before getting in the water. I was heading out the door and thought, today, since I'm tired from yesterday's training, I'm gonna try half a glass, 5 milliliters of Neumi. And I'm gonna observe because it's happened to me before and I feel that push, It's not instant energy, it's prolonged. When people start getting tired, I still have more fuel in the tank. I've always been like that, but it's like this multiplies it, So I took it at 7:30 in the morning. The training started at 8. And yeah, during the sets, I could notice that the first 6 were more controlled, at a pace of 119 per 100, 119, 118, and so on, keeping it steady. The first 6. And the next 6, I was able to go from 119 to 115 per 100. The first one at 115, and then I kept dropping. 114, 113, 112, 109. I finished at 109. What I mean by this is that it was incredible how instead of slowing down like my teammates next to me who were pushing hard, I was pacing myself and all that, and then when I sped up, I left them behind. It was like I got a boost and they faded, Okay, this was during swim practice on Saturday. After swim practice, I had a bike workout, and I was already feeling it from the swim. So I thought, let me take another half glass of Neumi and see what happens. I had to go catch up with a training group that had already left a while ago, so I had to chase after them with my sister, and for 25 minutes, we were pushing hard, really going for it, until we caught up with the group. And I have to admit that, once again, according to the numbers and data we track on the bike, with the heart rate monitor, with the power meter to measure how much force we're putting out and all that, those are numbers you normally don't hit in a training session, It would be hard to reach those numbers even if you were pushing yourself. And I was actually feeling comfortable at that pace, and that's kind of what stands out to me. And above all, what really stands out is how from one day to the next, recovery is a whole different story. A whole different story. Honestly, I haven't stopped taking Neumi this whole year. I've been really consistent every day with my little glass and all that. It's true that sometimes I split it in half depending on my training and stuff, but what really gets my attention is during the sessions, if you take it beforehand, you can feel the difference. When it comes to recovery, and I have friends who can confirm this too, you really notice it, especially on those really long bike rides. Normally, you get home and have to spend the whole afternoon lying in bed, but with Neumi, that just doesn't happen, you know? You feel like you're ready to go again, and the next day you're good to go for another one. So, what I want to say is, this thing I mentioned happened on Saturday, okay? And yesterday, which was Sunday, I had to do a 45-minute running workout with a fartlek, and for those who don't know, fartlek means changes in pace. In this case, it was 10 times 1 minute at a strong but comfortable pace and another minute easy. So you alternate 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy, 1 minute hard, 1 minute easy, 10 times. And again, I felt really comfortable, not stressed at all. I'll put all the data here on the sides, but what I want to show with this is how you can really feel that extra boost, especially in recovery, and how fresh you feel from one day to the next. And I'm saying this as an athlete who's been doing triathlon for about 12 years, and that fatigue you used to feel from one day to the next would just keep building up, and there comes a point where you have to dial it back, you just have to. But you have to slow down, because otherwise you'll either get sick or injured, and your body just asks you to stop, you know? I'm really noticing it in the numbers, especially, wait, I don't have the tool here, it's over here. It also tracks for me, with all the data we have, the improvements we're making, what's called PICs, which are improvements in numbers, in performance. It compares your entire training history and tells you, hey, you've improved your heart rate over 20 minutes, you've improved this or that. So lately, all my workouts have been showing these kinds of improvements, and the year's not even over yet, right?